Vas-y, moi j'ai peur.
How are you, Ludo?
I'm fine, very fine.
You're fine. I hope
Yes.
you're more than fine. And we have Raouti, who was with me just earlier, Marion as well. I don't know which order. I think maybe Marion, you go here.
Okay.
You can, you can sit
Here?
in the middle. I mean, you're the CEO. You have to sit. And Bertran, who is going to sit right here. I'm gonna you know everybody but Bertran, right? So I need to ask you to introduce yourself, at least so that people have a little bit of context of who you are.
Yes, sure. Thank you. So my name is Bertran Ruiz. I'm director of IoT Valley. IoT Valley is it's not an accelerator, it's not an incubator, it's something different on the spirit, but what we do, it's an ecosystem of startups where Sigfox is based. So he's my boss, donc I don't. So in number is 40 startups, 700 people, 3 buildings, and it's beginning to be fat. During 5 years, we try to understand how to create the best startup on Sigfox. So we don't know yet, but we are trying. And some startups that you know, like Ubigreen, Nanolike, or things like that. And we process or build these startups, and we are here to enjoy Sigfox Connect.
Ludo, so you are his boss, right?
Yes, some word about IoT Valley. See, when we started Sigfox in 2011, we had the idea that we will need an ecosystem. So one day, it's just a real story. Maybe we stopped working at 5, 6. We bought some paint box, and we started to paint 30 square meter. And we said, this is the IoT Valley. At that time, 30 meters, we put a coach. And that was the IoT Valley beginning, so nobody except Sigfox in that IoT Valley. And we thought that one day it should be an ecosystem working together to address the huge opportunity of IoT. And we started to recruit Bertran, his team, and more people. I think today how many people are running?
40.
40 people. So we started with what I call yellow cons, with no cash, no money. We started from zero. And day after day, after 8 years, now there are 40 people running the association. And we are not only 40 square meter, but now it's 20,000 square meter. And we have 700 people working in this ecosystem. So just starting from zero. And the revenue of the association is roughly 2 million euros, coming from sponsorship with industrials, which is not subsidiaries by the government, but also sometimes a little bit, but globally, the revenue for the association comes from industrial willing to understand how they have to transform. So what they do is they are doing a very good job, because I was very boring for them, because I tried to push them in their limit day after day, because I don't want to be a place just for fun, but it's important to have fun, but also to be very cautious with this opportunity to be the first place where we can educate people for this huge opportunity, which is the IoT. So they did a very good job on the spirit. I invite you to come in Toulouse, La Beige, to meet them and the ecosystem people working there, because it's amazing. So this is maybe my...
But I think it's important to note that this is, because you said revenue, so I just want to make sure, this is a non-profit, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's not owned by one people. It's not owned by Ludo or by me. We can't win money with this, but we make money. We make money because we want to be the boss of what we want to do on the vision of the world. Like startup and entrepreneurship are completely modeling how we are going to consume, how people are going to live. And we think if we don't create startups, what happened? China wants to create startups, USA, but France have the good position to create the best IoT startup for now, and we want to take this place.
And we also try to compete with Raouti.
I was about to say, because
because Raouti started before us with
Yes.
our technology and say one day
so yeah, Raouti, for
We'll
context,
compete with them with-
Raouti
So it
has
started with 30 square meter, only. So,
No,
but
because-
it did something great, actually.
Because to
Great.
make some context, Raouti has Aura Technology is how big? I have no idea.
It's 100,000 square meter
Yes,
today.
it's a massive, massive location with a lot of
the
innovation.
biggest ecosystem in France.
Exactly.
In Europe, I think.
Europe,
so.
maybe.
In Europe, and it's
But
been
I
like
did
the
it also
world.
like Ludovic did. I started in a small, working cabin, like, where workers were working. So it was a small, like 25 to 30 square meters. And we started like this too. But I believe in what Bertran and Ludovic were saying. You can achieve a lot of things by only taking people and transforming them on the road to create beautiful and successful companies. And you do it by investing yourself, not only taking shares of the companies and making profits on them and making multiples, only by putting your energy to make these people able to, to exploit their own talent. This is very important. This is very, very important.
And I think I had that this is very unique because during these 2 amazing days, out of what is happening on stage, execution on vision stage, I had many meetings with some of our SOs in different countries willing to do the same thing that we have created in France with Raouti, Aura Technology, IoT Valley, because everybody has understood that the opportunity of IoT is just starting. We talked about utility, but supply chain and logistics. So this is something that's becoming obvious with a lot of saving, a lot of opportunity, but everything will be connected. Every industry will be addressed by IoT. And there will be Snapchat, WhatsApp, Shazam, whatever we call them, of IoT. So I think we don't know where it will come from, but for sure, if we nurtured all this energy, all these skills, and all together we help them to grow, not doing the main mistake that we have done ourselves, it should be very powerful. And I think this is the message, and we do it from non-profit approach also, like for the Sigfox Foundation, but for another concern. But important for us, for me, for everybody sitting here, to support young generation to tackle this opportunity and to also to have a very spirit mindset, which is not doing that only for become rich and powerful and so on, just because we need in parallel with developing company, creating values for our customers, for also our shareholders sometimes also, you have to do that, but also trying to balance with the sense, with values. And this is where we try to work, we try to explain what are the opportunities, but also we try to tell them, please, you can do the both. We can do business, we can do something with sense.
I think it's, I'm joining Ludovic on that. And this is also why I joined Sigfox. Because we are sharing the same value between IoT Valley and Aura Technologies. But even we're not here to talk about this, it's important to look at what these beautiful projects are bringing to ecosystems, local ecosystems. And, IoT has a power to create, according to me, thousands or millions of jobs in the future. And this is where we should stick, because this is what we want to provide to the people surrounding us. It's not only building devices or chipsets, it's also being able to provide a future for young generations regarding IoT, as internet did before or mobile industry did before. With this IoT, you are able to create big value, maybe change the GDP of certain countries, bring jobs to people, and make them, make them happy with the future in their own careers. I believe in that. I believe in the power of IoT to bring new economies to be sustainable in the future.
And to create jobs. And I think it's good to talk about what you have in mind, Ludovic and Bertran, with the Datajobs. I take your job, okay?
Exactly,
no,
I was about to say that was the next question, but please, I'd rather you guys do it. I'm just watching. I've been tired after 2 days of doing this. So guys, please.
No, you're right, Marion. I think I will let Bertran explain
the platform you guys are.
The platform. Remember, during my keynote, I told you that we are working, you have the Marion and Raouti,
Ruiz.
Riot. So Riot, sorry, Raouti, Ruiz, and many names similar. So they talked about on the job spaces how to address these conservation concerns, but I also mentioned during my keynote elderly people, how to help them when they have very, very low incomes. So I talked about the Datajobs platform. And I strongly believe that for the one who are aware of the Schumpeter concern principle, every technologies, when they arise, they kill some job, but they can create other jobs. AI, artificial intelligence, we believe that they could kill jobs. Sometimes what's happening with the fintech, it kills some jobs. But I strongly believe that IoT can create jobs. And what the idea we had together with IoT Valley, Bertran and his team, is to see how we can create jobs, or maybe create first task, on a set of tasks, create a job. And because behind every device, there is an alarm potentially, and this alarm, you have someone who have to deal with this alarm. You have sensors that have to be monitored and maintained, and there is many ways to do that. You can do it through a Uber approach, meaning that you have a platform. Once again, you get 30% of margin, not margin, but the revenue captured by the platform, and 70% for the people doing the job. And I think if we continue that way, we should have more and more yellow jackets in the world. You know, the famous French yellow jacket. Because you are in a world where the technology is only for the guys on the right side of the technology
divide.
Yeah. So this is why I think we need to take into account this concern on trying to bring the technology for the people, technology for humanity. For the moment, the humanity is for the technology, which is fine because it helps us to tackle some concern of the world maybe, but we need to do both. And this is why I ask Bertran, can you help us with the IoT Valley, the team you have, to create this platform, a non-profit platform, just to guarantee that we are not cheating. We are doing something that at the end of the day will be for the profit of people and creating jobs, plenty of jobs. Maybe I'll let you comment, Bertrand, about that.
For sure. So the specialty of my team is two things: is understanding problematics and creating services. So when Ludovic tell us, okay, Bertrand, I have the vision that IoT can create a lot of jobs, and we have a problem with like platform like Uber and things like that to this type of job. We think about, for example, elderly sectors. So, okay, you have a lot of companies or startups creating services about elderly. Something, if someone is falling, what is next? You have to have one person to go out to the home and see what's up. So we make a platform, Datajobs. It's like a marketplace. It's marketplace between data and jobs and people. And we can't do it if we take 25% of each transaction. We are non-profit, so the money comes and it's given to the people making the action. So we build this platform, and we are in the first step of the test with people in Toulouse, and step after step we are going to go up.
I give you an example, just what do we mean by job? For example, we at Sigfox, we collect information from solar panel, just to monitor the energy produced by solar panel. You know that when they are dirty, the solar panel is not very powerful. I don't know the word.
You lose efficiency.
You lose efficiency.
Yeah.
So it means that you need to clean them, and you recover the efficiency. And for that, you know that if you don't clean them, you will lose money because you will create less energy. And you can define a price for someone who come and clean the solar panel, and you give him an amount for that. Instead of having someone doing kilometers with his car to clean that panel, you should have someone close to these panels that will clean them. So if you define the price, 10 euros, $10 to clean the panel, it will be informed, alerted by the Sigfox platform, by the Datajobs platform. He will be able to say, I will take the job, he will do it, and he will take the $10, not $7, but $10. And this is important because, once again, if we take $3 and give him only $7, it's not the fact that we don't want to create value, but at the end of the day, once again, the technology will be 30% only for digital concerns, just hosting a server, having a team of engineers developing something, but we need to tell to the world, to the people not at the right place, that they can have the technology for them. We need to have people feeling the sense which we try to bring, because if we don't do that, I think one day the world will be impossible to do. So this is why we have decided to work all together on that project. Once again, it's a very big bet, it's a very big project, so we need all the energy, everybody willing to participate to that program, because it's a worldwide program at the end of the day. We are starting from Toulouse because, once again, we need to start in a place. We will have to scale worldwide, and it's a non-profit, and I think in every country you have this concern of trying to address alarm, maintenance. I think you can be a big a tier 1 company. You can have a big team driving away to address that problem. But if you have someone close to the alarm, it's more efficient. You don't have to for the environment, and you create these jobs which had been described on a notice. So I think this is what we aim to do with the Datajobs platform. And I think it should be an open source platform, something at the end of the day that will be shared by all of you, and feed by new opportunities, by new type of job we could create.
And moreover, you're always talking, sorry, Raouti, because I haven't spoke a lot, so please.
Go ahead. No problem. I don't have any problem. No, please do.
No, but you say that already. Usually, you say that we are talking a lot about climate change, which is of course a big issue. We know that. We all know that. But we less talk about the unemployment, the social development, the emancipation. What am I useful, but for what? You know, and that's a big issue. And maybe I think it's equal to the climate change and how our children are going to face a mess. You know, with the weather, with all the impacts. And I think it's for the economic is something that we do not have to forget. We live in a world with crisis. We know in France that's not super easy. So having that kind of solutions or propositions is really great for people who are not educated, who do not have access to school, but having their hands and their brain and just make, I think we should reconcile micro jobs with jobs at large, with economy. That's part of the world to come, no?
This is exactly what I was going to say. But when you look at the world today, and we travel, we meet people, and there are some countries. I was discussing with our friends from South Africa, for example, Nigeria, these kind of countries today. They are facing big challenges, and especially the unemployment rate of their population. And this unemployment rate affects their GDPs. So they are looking for recipes to address this point. So either you buy very expensive things, programs, to be able to train the population, take the population from 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 and these kind of things, and it costs a lot of money to do that. And some of these countries are not able to, they can't afford to invest this kind of money to be able to do that for massive population. When you speak about, Nigeria, you're in millions of people, so how can you address this? So technology is a good answer for that, and specifically IoT. Because IoT, as Ludovic mentioned before, you're targeting some very concrete daily basis problems with a very low-cost technology. And on top of this, you're creating opportunities, because jobs are opportunities, actually, by the end of the day. So if you create these opportunities using this technology, then you're able to create jobs. And people don't have to have too much skills to get access to these jobs. But after this, if you're able to continue with these people, to train them, to bring them like contents, then it will be sustainable jobs for these people. I was discussing with a guy in Ghana, and the guy was telling me that only 260,000 people were having a job in the country. So it's amazing. it's not true. They are having a job, but they're not like official jobs. They're working on the side. They're trying to, to survive. And they're trying to create their own jobs. And I think IoT is a real opportunity for that. And we're moving from Internet of People that we all know, that was creating jobs for specific people having a lot of skills, to Internet of Things, which is, for me, going to create more jobs than the Internet of People. And it's very paradoxical because we think about people and things will create more jobs for people than people did for people. This is my belief.
Yeah, and I think that, let me rephrase that. What I like about the message that you guys are giving here is that if you look at the last, let's see, 5 years maybe, suddenly technology has become the enemy of the people. People are getting afraid of it. Supposedly the jobs are going to disappear because of technology. The platforms we've been using are destroying jobs or destroying society. You're trying to reverse the trend. You can say, actually, if technology were to be used correctly, we should augment the people, augment the opportunities, augment the possibilities. Of course, some people to get rich, but simply some people to actually offer new kind of jobs that do not exist by making everything alive. And this is me, as you know, guys, not part of Sigfox, but what is absolutely true is that by being able to put life into every type of object, suddenly you can actually not only track it like it's the early stage now, but actually make it alive and make it interact with people and create these type of jobs.
Yeah, exactly. But this is exactly this. When you look at it like this, you see devices, technology, chipsets, hardware, very engineered things, platforms, data, and these kind of things. And you say, okay, it's not for me. But when you look at what it's able to create in the second time of the technology, when it's used, then it creates massive opportunities for anyone. So even for people who don't have skills at the moment, but they can get skilled with it. So I think we are at the very beginning of that, and such technologies as our technology is very frugal at the beginning. You can use it, only spending few amounts of money to do that. But the thing is to be able to build the full thing, to embed, to onboard everyone. And the problem is, you were talking about technology to be enemy of humanity. It is. But what we are fighting against is to be able to open this opportunity to anyone. And do it. We are not like, it's not Disney World, actually. It's also economic things. It's going to create businesses out of it.
Pragmatic.
It's very pragmatic.
I'll go back to Ludo, but actually, if you look in the history, for nowadays the term innovation is the one everybody uses. It used to be the term progress, right? Until to the 70s, and then progress made people afraid, and we stopped using that word because it became tainted. So basically the fight is to avoid innovation having the same taint. And say, oh, innovation is actually bad. So are you an optimist, Ludovic?
Yes, of course. I'm fully optimistic because I strongly believe that it's the right time. The planet is facing some big concern, big alerts, and maybe it's the right time to start that change on trying to balance that. We, all the partners, I heard and listened during these 2 days, who are more and more excited than ever because they are creating values for their companies. They are sometimes creating their own company to tackle the opportunity. But in the same time, I strongly believe that we can reduce maybe at the end of the day our margin or value, but in the same time create sense for their children, for the planet, trying to balance the threat that we have. You have China, US, you should have other territories that at the end of the day, all together, balance the threat and the power we can get from the digitalization of the world. So this is, for me, what is very positive, because we need to do that, because no one wants to live in a duopole, which is, even if I was at the right side, Chinese or American guys, I will not be fine with that, because it's, more is balanced. It will never be fully balanced, because you know that there are wars around the world every day, from centuries and millennials. But this is, for me, now the time for trying to concern doing the both in parallel, and trying to also to think and to be sure that if we do that, even at the end of the day, the business we will create will be more powerful. Because as soon as you embed people in your project, you help them to educate them, you get them to increase their skills, to increase their way of life, and you save people. This is, for me, something that is very powerful for yourself. So even inside your company, we are facing some stress, some constraint, but at the end of the day, we need to see how to do it in parallel, because I think I can't oppose non-profit approach, part of our time doing something for the others and doing something for our shareholders, which is something that can be done in parallel. This is so my message on after these 2 days, because I want also to do like a wrap-up of what I heard, is that all the solution we introduced about Admiral Leo, low-cost device size, low power, and the GV, for example, with Amadeus Pinpoint. This is something that gave good ideas to people, because they have understood that we can bring a big company, a big name, we can bring technology, like the one we bring with Sigfox, plus entrepreneurs, if these 3 pillars, can create huge opportunities. And it is maybe a good way for big tier 1 company, blue chip company, to start their transformation. Because you heard about the Kodak, Nokia. They died because they couldn't compete against themselves. They produce films, and they had the numeric, the photo, the digital picture, digital camera. See, if they had created at that time their own competitors, but they feed it, they create this kind of approach, maybe one day they should be able to acquire their own creation and continue to be the leader of their market. So I think this is something that we should try to work with, because internally it's not easy when you have to tell to your sales guy, do something, but in between I will compete with you. It's not easy to manage as a CEO. But if you do something completely independent, and you will have to compete with something as another company, but you bring this value, and maybe one day you can be able to reintegrate this value in your company, because you can be able to acquire it. It's something that can make sense. So this is what IoT is doing. The way of thinking today is totally changing for me, and this kind of event. All the feedback I got, because with people excited, as I told you, that they want to create their own ecosystem, the Hacking House program that Raouti has created also at Sigfox, they want this kind of program in their countries, because they want to help their young generation in their country to be part of that revolution. So this is I am very glad to welcome everybody today, and the ones who are still there.